Hi, this is Joy, and welcome to 365 Days of Joy, Day 2. Yesterday, I stood in front of the camera and videotaped myself talking for 10 minutes and added my intro and uploaded it from my phone onto YouTube. And I was really nervous, but it went better than I expected. Today, I'm taking a little bit of a deeper dive into the challenge of this project. I have been on Adobe Premiere today doing video tutorials and editing a video that I took a couple of months ago of me taking materials off of a painting. This is a typical example of the way I usually work, and I really love this process, but 365 Days of Joy is all about taking me outside of this comfort zone. But I figured before I go outside of my comfort zone, I might as well show you what I do and so you can see why I love it. And I figured it would be helpful to introduce you to my current way of working so that as I explore new avenues in the creative process, you can see where my starting point is and where I'm going from there. You'll see me moving around and all the leaves and the little pods, seed pods that are on there, at least that's what I'm calling them, and all the little markings they make. Whenever I go out on walks, I usually collect natural materials outside and bring them back into my studio and put them into a colorful puddle of ink that I create, which is also a very fun part of the process. And then I have to be very patient and let the water evaporate to leave behind all these beautiful details. I tell people that I'm collaborating with natural phenomena, which is really what I'm doing. So I really do have to do my best to trust that this process isn't all on me and that I have, something that is playing along with me. And that really helps me to let go and trust that something's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to be usually, which is what keeps me coming back because I'm really curious to see the transformation. I really like how this process lets me be an explorer. When I was younger, I used to make artwork that I already had the finished version in my mind, and I would set out to make that vision come to life. And I really didn't like it that much because it made me a technician. I felt like a slave to the idea, and I would spend many, many, many hours executing the idea, and I would have lots of other ideas piling on top of me while I was trying to focus on that one, and I would feel really bad about myself, actually. I would feel bad for it taking me so long. I felt like I wasn't dedicated. And then eventually in grad school, I found this process that you're seeing a video of, and it turned me into an explorer, and it showed me that I didn't have to know what the end result was going to be. And I found that that is what kept me coming back day after day after day to the studio, and that made me a very prolific artist and a very dedicated artist. And I realized, and this is something I like to tell a lot of young artists, that you don't need to feel bad if you're not making a lot of work, if you're not motivated, if you're not excited. Maybe your process just isn't the right process for you. I was really good at being a technician. I used to sell portraits when I was in high school and in college, and I used to do photorealistic paintings, and I could do it, but it just wasn't fun. So it just wasn't for me. Now my work is photorealistic in a different way, but I came upon this process that I invented by allowing myself to play and to explore and be an explorer, like I said. I found this particular process when I had the strange idea to hang a IV in my bathtub, in my shower, and I put a piece of Yupo paper on the bottom of the shower and let ink slowly drip on the paper. And I left it there overnight, and in the morning when I came to check on it, it wasn't a pretty painting, but it looked like a photorealistic painting of Mars, like the surface of Mars. And it was more photorealistic than I had ever been able to achieve before. And it was a very genuine painting. It didn't seem forced. It seemed very natural. It was really fun to like walk in there the next day and discover that. It was very surprising. And ever since I did that painting, it just completely had my attention. A lot of artists also, and I'm saying this because I have done this. Many of us, when you ask us what do, we do so many things. We try so many things. We experiment with so many materials. And we often like feel bad about the fact that we jump from one thing to the next to the next. But when I discovered this, I completely dedicated myself, and not because I was forcing myself, but because it just naturally happened. The energy like naturally appeared for this process. So it wasn't a case of me being more disciplined, but me being more interested. So I developed this in grad school, and I made more than one painting a week for my whole third year of grad school, and ended up showing about 35 paintings in my thesis show, some of which were 5 foot by 19 foot. And I had many, many more to choose from, so I really had to edit to figure out what I was going to show. But again, I say this because there's so many people that I meet that say that they can't be an artist because that they don't know what to make. And I say, well, you don't have to know what to make. You can just play. And so again, this year, 365 Days of Joy is all about playing in a more structured way. So I call myself an idea machine because I have tons and tons and tons of ideas. And again, I always sort of felt bad about having all these ideas because it was debilitating and I didn't know which one to act on. And so this year, instead of feeling bad about it, I'm going to like put my idea machine title to the test and do one experiment a week and for the whole year and keep it going and see where it leads me, and it's going to be fun. I think the most challenging part, like I said yesterday, is going to be the whole, technology component of this, the taking video and the video editing. That's going to be the big challenge. And that's the thing I'm anxious about. I'm really excited about all the projects. I've been developing all of these ideas not all of them. I've been developing a lot of the ideas that are going to be the starting points for the experiments that I do, and that have been sort of like on the back burner while I dealt with other things, in life, the pandemic. I had hip surgery. I had a baby, all sorts of life things that have put my art on the back burner for a couple of years. Or I still painted, but I stuck with what I knew. But now that I am in a really stable place, health-wise and all that, I feel like I finally have the ability to go beyond my comfort zone and to explore new creative horizons. And I really encourage you to see if you could do that too with me. I will, in future videos, explain how you can join me and what you can do to try out some of the exercises and the experiments that I'm going to be doing. So follow me and subscribe, and I hope that we can create some really cool art together and